Right, how are we guys today? So today I've decided just to set a record straight. I've heard a lot of people talking about Maponga and saying that Maponga was struggling in South Africa and therefore this is why now he's gone to Zimbabwe. So I just want to show you what it is that is happening at this place. This is Maponga's house. Those garages are all filled with cars at Maponga's house. And so when people say that Maponga had to run away, that's an antique over there. There's also another one of his cars. And I just wanted us to have a look at what it is that is going on here with our friend, Mr. Maponga. He's got a very big house. It's very comfortable. And sometimes I think when people talk about people without knowing their story, they tend to undermine people. Straight and show you how Maponga lives. And show you how Maponga lives in SA. My reception has just gone over there. So let's go. So that you can understand tomorrow when you say that Maponga is supporting his country because he has failed in South Africa, what that means and why that is a lie and why that is not true. So I'm on the backyard. That's a patio over here. It's a very big house. It's a very big house. Behind me is the pool. It's the pool over there. And over there is the tennis court. It's an extension of the house over here. Just showing you so that we get the record straight that when people support Zimbabwe, they don't support Zimbabwe because they're hungry. They don't support Zimbabwe because they're struggling. They don't support Zimbabwe because they've got nothing before. It's not true. This is a house that belongs to Mr. Maponga. A house he has had for years. A house that I've visited so many times. But we've never shown you this because it was unnecessary. But right now we've got some people that say that Maponga is supporting Zimbabwe because he is hungry. He's not successful. He has failed to succeed. There's a tennis court. How many of you have got tennis courts at home? How many of you have a tennis court, a swimming pool? Hey? How many of you people live like this in my internet keeps going off because I'm using the Wi-Fi from inside the house. So this is what I wanted you to see. So that you understand that we don't support the government of Zimbabwe because we are failures. We don't support the government of Zimbabwe because things are not going well. Right? There's this vegetable patch. He's got some more vegetables over there. You know, the man is comfortable. The man has done well for himself. And now we're going to do a cribs. Go into the house, show you the house from the inside so that you can begin to understand that what you think is not what it is. Sorry. Knock, knock. So that's me going through the door. And that's Maponga's daughter at the back there. And there's a living room, a lounge. We're doing cribs today. Because you guys don't believe in black people. You think all black people are suffering. All black people are struggling. All black people are not doing well. This is where the magic happens. Production of the music. And there's the man himself, just in case you think that I'm in a white man's house pretending like it is his house. I'm joking.
That's all right.
This is his study. Right? The instruments here. It's also a studio. Look at that. This is all his hard work. At the back there. There's the man himself. All right? He does most of what you're seeing hanging here. The chair at the back here, he's the one who made that chair. I am talking like somebody who is a brother because that's how close we are. I know this man for a very long time. And we've never told you this story before because there was no reason for us to tell you the story. But as Zimbabweans, you undermine people. You think that people are on social media teaching, talking to you because they are desperate. This is the house of a man who speaks to you on a daily basis. He's not desperate. He doesn't need anything from you. He's never asked you for anything. But he has got a passion for Zimbabwe. He's got a passion for you as Africans, for you to learn and to know more about Africa. That doesn't make him desperate. He's a very successful man. He can retire. There's a piano in the corner there. How many of you have got pianos at home? How many of you have got pianos at home? How many of you have seen a piano? Where you come from, do you have a piano? Look at the kitchen. Well appointed. Eh? Then you think the man is desperate because he speaks about Africa, he speaks for his country. You think he wants to be discovered. Who told you that? I'm annoyed. That's why today I forced him and I said, listen, I'm going to tell your story, my brother. I'm going to show people your home. I'm going to show people that you are not desperate. You have done things and you've done well. Eh? You've done well for yourself. And I want you guys to know that when he is speaking to you, when he is teaching you about your continent, when he's speaking about your country, don't think that he's there because he wants to be noticed. He wants to be seen. He wants to be recognized. We don't fight sanctions. We don't fight for our nations. We don't speak for our nation because we're desperate or because we have nothing. That's not what we do it for. And he couldn't do this himself. That's why I'm doing it. Okay? This is the garage. Joshua Maponga's garage. That's a Range Rover right there. Do you understand? That's a Range Rover right there. There's another car driven by his daughters. There's another garage next door. All right?
4 garages.
There's 4 garages. Why are we doing this? It's because you undermine people. You think that only people that have nothing can stand for their country. And that is because you see people who hate their own country. Oh my God, sorry. So there's an antique here.
There's a Rolls there.
That's a Rolls Royce right there. I hate doing videos like this, but sometimes the story needs to be told. I hate doing videos like this, but sometimes you Zimbabweans need to be taught not to think that everybody is desperate for recognition, desperate to be given something by the government. We stand for our country because we love our country.
Being called bootlickers, you know.
Huh? So right, Mr. Maponga, how are you, my guy? You didn't want me to do this, but I had to do it.
When a young brother asks, then
We were told you were kicked out of South Africa by people who continue to tell lies and continue to demonize people who support Zimbabwe, people who support our nation. Now, you didn't want to do this, but I've said to you on many occasions over the past few years that you've got to do this. What you've got to say, my brother. And this throne of yours.
the narrative of the African being a failure has been very popular, and I don't know why Africans would want to pontificate that narrative and celebrate and get excited. Apparently, when I hear that RUTENDO has failed, I get excited because for some strange reason, an African feels that when another African has failed, then it means I'm better than them. I've been here for 30 years in South Africa. I've lived in London, I've lived in the US, I've lived in Europe, and etc. And I've come back, and I'm going back to Zim, as I'm living in Zim now. I've done what I could do. My oldest daughter, she's 25, the second one is 22, the other one is 21, my youngest daughter is 19 years old. I could live here and retire, honestly speaking, but the passion for my country compels me to contribute toward the Zimbabwean economy and much more. And it's not true that Africans cannot make it.
But more critically, you are not just a Zimbabwean. You are a royalty from Zimbabwe. Can you go into detail to explain to people where you come from and who you are?
On onset, you are a royalty. You're from the Moyo. You're from the great Monomotapa space, which are the Rosi people. I'm from the Sose tribe, which are the Mukanyas. who ran the Guruswa, Mundoro, Wedza areas and etc. And my grandfather, Munyuki himself, Nokwaran, Tuma, Chapinduka, and etc. are from that royal house. It's nothing to claim. You are not made into royalty. You are born into that space. And we are not claiming what we are not. We are what we are. And if that offends you as an African to know that you are from a royal, find out which house are you coming from. Were you the chiefs in the house? Were you the medical people in the house? Were you the warriors in the house? So all of us, this is the beautiful part about the African royalty, is that every member of the community was actually strategically positioned towards the securing of the kingdom. So there's not everyone who was sitting on the throne. The throne is designated into aspects. So when you say you're from the royal house, the wise people, the medicine people, the farmers people, the hunters, and the craftsmen, and etc., they all contribute towards the royal. That makes the community.
But clearly, our people don't know this history. That is why when they see you and me doing what we do, speaking to them like this, they think we're mad. We are looking for recognition from ZANU-PF. We want to be seen by ministers. We want to be given jobs. Can you go into this calling and this what our ancestral spirits have ordained us to do and why it causes us to do what we do?
There are two aspects. There are people who choose their paths in life. Other people, their paths chooses them. The other people who decide what they want to do with their lives. Other people, their lives decide for them what they should do. And I think that, for me, creates a total different dichotomy. Then if you are choosing your path, you are free, you are a commoner. But if your path chooses you,
you have no choice.
You have a mission to be accomplished.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I would not want to waste my time with people who have no purpose, no dream, no vision, no inclination, no connection, who are puppets of public media and social media influences, and they think that they know everything because they went to school, and they've thrown away their character and ethnicity for a colonial mindset, and then they jump out social space as if they have it all together. I think I will have undermined, but intuition, premonition, and conviction tells me to be patient, even with some of those simple people. The fact that they've been contaminated mentally does not undermine who they are. So I even feel sorry for some people who come on social media and they swear on us and they curse us. And you look at the person's history and the person does not even know the value that they have on the total picture. So it's sad that we have gone to school only to divorce ourselves.
So when you criticize, and you and I have differed sometimes because you're even critical of the government. So when you criticize the government, when you criticize the leadership, when you criticize the opposition for calling for sanctions upon their own people, are you doing it for money? Are you doing it because you want ZANU-PF to recognize you? Are you doing it because you want to have a similar house and similar cars in Zimbabwe?
My critique, if you can go on my social media space, if you can go on my writings for the past 15, 20, 30 years, I've never believed in democracy for an onset. I've believed in African indigenous healing systems. I've never believed in colonial entertainment. I've believed in African economy. I've never believed in European economy. I've believed in African economy. I've never believed in African agriculture, in European agriculture. I've believed in indigenous agricultural systems. I've never believed in a white culture. I've believed in African culture. I've never believed in European fashion, in as much as I have suits and I have jackets. I've been educated for the best time of it. And I have a couple of suits. I've given most of them away. I think I have about 2 or 3 left. But my whole wardrobe is revolutionized to become an African.
And you challenge me. You keep challenging me. Now I feel like when I'm dressed like this, I'm dressed wrongly.
Remember, you must do it, but do it with an understanding. But remember that the colonial system survives because the colonized support the colonial system with your funding and etc. You must actually buy the things that make you look like the colonizer himself. So I have been there. I have learned it. I have grown up. And when I look back and I'm saying, when I become like you, who will become like me? And every time you become like me, you are depriving me the opportunity to experience you. So my whole Magna Carta Yeah, that sounds like English.
It sounds like English.
Yeah, it sounds like
but
English,
it gets
Italian.
but it communicates with not only Zimbabweans but everybody else who
whole
might not understand our language.
My
So
whole
continue.
Magna Carta is identity. After I have tried to fit into the entire system, when am I going to identify myself and fit into myself? So yes, I'm not looking for money from ZANU-PF, for crying out loud. I've made my own money. I'm making my own money. I'm running a consulting company in South Africa. I've got a couple of businesses that I'm running. I've got a publishing place. I've got 15 books on the stock. I have books on the shelves. I have TV programs that I'm running. And I think for the greatest part of it, I would not have lived here for 30 years and having achieved what I have achieved if I was selling popcorn on the side of the road.
And you have not been kicked out of South Africa. I'm sitting with you in South Africa right now.
I flew in yesterday.
You flew in yesterday.
I'm flying out tomorrow.
Yes.
Business class.
Yes.
And that business class is not paid for by ZANU-PF.
Yes.
It's paid from my own company.
And I'm coming to join you next.
You're coming next week to join
Next
me.
week to
Yes,
join you.
yeah. So
And what are we going to be doing going forward?
going to Zimbabwe, we're building a media house, which will be inclusive to TV, radio, and social media, to tell the Zimbabwean good story. Good story.
Tell what?
The Zimbabwean good story. Media is infiltrated with this maggot kind of thinking, this worm, rotten manure kind of thing, the worm kind of thinking, which is destructive, detrimental, glorifying and pontificating everything that is colonial and Western, and demonizing everything that is African.
And we're going to
Showcase
the story of Zimbabwe in a way it's never been showcased before.
never to do.
We're going to tell the Zimbabwean story in a way that the Western world, Western media do not want people to see. And we will make this
There are
undertaking now.
Zimbabwean black people who are running mines. Yes, Chinese are running, Americans are running, British are running, but we want to start focusing on Zimbabweans who are doing it for themselves. The Zimbabweans who are running fuel in Zimbabwe. The Zimbabweans who are baking wheat in Zimbabwe.
The Zimbabweans who made sure that today we don't queue for fuel anymore.
Yes, they're there. They're good.
It wasn't
There
Shell
are
that
Zimbabweans
did
who
it.
are running insurance companies in Zimbabwe. There are Zimbabweans who are running telecom. And
There are Zimbabweans who are going to raise Zisco Steel to its former glory.
For me, I don't have to stand here and feel sorry that we've gone through sanctions. Sanctions, actually, the good part about the sanction is that they've been able to create opportunities.
Say that again. The good part about sanctions,
they've created opportunities for the Zimbabwean community when the Western world withdrew its resources and withdrew its manpower and withdrew its donor funding. It created a gap, and the Zimbabweans who were alert enough to see that through the sanctions, this is no longer available, and they stepped into the gap. We actually have a good story to tell that out of every challenge in the community, it's opportunity.
So, the reason why a black man is the biggest fuel supplier in Zimbabwe right now
Sanctions.
is because of sanctions. The reason why the biggest
BP closed, Total closed, Shell closed,
hoping to sabotage Zimbabwe.
because they wanted Mugabe to go. And one man saw that fuel was not available, he stepped in. Now the fellow Zimbabweans are saying, this man is eating with the government. He's not eating with the government, he's selling fuel.
And remember the story. This man was an employee.
You employ the bank.
And then tenders were issued, a bid was issued for licenses for fuel.
You could not even qualify.
He did not get a license in 2002. And when he realized that he couldn't get this license after being retrenched, he decided to go to one of the people that got the fuel license
And were not
said,
able to
"Listen,
service it."
why don't you give me your fuel license? I will pay you to use it."
There you go.
But this man had a vision, a long-term vision.
Fast
And
forward.
all those people who got those licenses, none of them's businesses are standing today except this man and maybe another 2 or 3 other people. He's now the biggest black fuel supplier in
In Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe and probably Southern Africa. I
While
don't think-
you're on that, I'm not ashamed, personally, Benson, to announce and pronounce a monopoly of the African economy to the Africans. If this man has been able to occupy the fuel space, we need another man to occupy the banking space. We need another man in the insurance space. We need another
media
man
space.
in the media
You and me in the
we
media
need another
space.
man in the pharmaceutical space.
Yes.
We need another man in the clothing space.
Right.
Until the Zimbabwean economy is fully in the hands of the Zimbabweans.
The legal space, we are fighting sanctions currently. Not many Zimbabweans have stepped up, so millions of dollars are going to be paid by us as Zimbabweans fighting sanctions to foreign lawyers unless Zimbabweans step up to the plate. And you must stop undermining people. You're going to lose opportunities because you undermine us. When you see us doing this, you think we don't have money, we don't have resources, we don't have what it takes to do what we do, yet we do. So you need to start believing in your own people. You will get opportunities that might actually lift you up. So anyway, we didn't intend to go this long. I just wanted to tell a story. It ends up that we've gone into a whole lot more about what it is that we do. I've had to intrude in this man's private life, showing off physical things which don't matter, just so that we can say to you Zimbabweans, don't undermine messengers of the message of Zimbabwe's good story, telling the Zimbabwe's good story. Thank you.